for the pundits, if not the voters.
Ahead on What's New, sights on the Senate. Dr. Amy Acton steps down from her job at the Columbus Foundation. What she's saying now about a potential run for Senator Portman's Senate seat.
Making strides. Governor DeWine announces we may soon be getting double the vaccine shipments to Ohio as our positivity rate ticks down. What it means for when we might hit herd immunity. Olympic dreams. Today marks 1 year from the Winter Olympics in Beijing and just months from the Summer Olympics in Tokyo. We have an inside look on how athletes are preparing in the pandemic.
And a longtime Cleveland sports talker has passed away. Jim Donovan joins us to remember the remarkable career of Les Levine. What's New starts now.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
And a very good hello to all of those watching in Northeast Ohio. It's so good to be with you again. Our Thursday installment of What's New is here for you today. Thanks so much for joining us. Alongside Betsy Kling, I'm Jay Crawford. Betsy, a very good Thursday afternoon to you.
And to you too. How about that sunshine today?
Well, I loved it. I needed my sunglasses today.
Feels so good out there. Temperatures above freezing, birds singing, children playing. And now it's going to change. So we'll get Matt Wentz coming up in just a few minutes to give us another update on just how all of this is going to go down, because it's definitely changing on us here in the next 24 hours. But as we move forward through the rest of the evening, speculation continues about possible candidates for one of Ohio's Senate seats in 2022 after Senator Portman announced he would not be running for re-election. Today we found out it looks like Dr. Amy Acton is seriously considering a run. Will Ewick gets our coverage started today, joins us live now with details. Hi there, Will.
Yeah, Betsy, normally we would not be talking about a potential open Senate seat in 2022 this early in the game, but because of Senator Rob Portman's announcement, speculation and buzz has been really all aflutter all around the state of Ohio and even on a national scale. And one of the most talked about candidates, you mentioned Dr. Amy Acton. We kind of got a little more guidance from her today as she released a statement saying that she is going to be exploring the idea of a campaign. In her statement, she said that many Ohioans have shared concerns and expressed a need for a new approach. She's stepping down from her role at the Columbus Foundation in order to consider how she can best serve. Now, Dr. Acton was Ohio's medical director under Governor DeWine before stepping down about 7 months ago. So you can throw her name in now to a list of other Democrats weighing a run, like the mayor of Dayton, Ann Whaley, Representative Tim Ryan. On the Republican side, you have names like former state treasurer Josh Mandel, Ohio Secretary of State Frank LaRose, Bernie Moreno, and Ohio Republican Party Chair Jane Timken. A lot of buzz that former Channel 3 political analyst Tom Barra says will probably sort itself out over time.
All of these candidates are going to have to take some time now, see what are my chances of raising the kind of serious money that I need, how well am I known around the state, because a wide open Senate seat does not occur very often, so it's a golden opportunity that a lot of candidates will not want to miss.
Now, as far as Dr. Amy Acton is concerned, that weighing out may take a little bit of time. A source close to her tells me that it's not expected that she's going to make a formal announcement anytime soon. It could be weeks, possibly into a few months as she kind of weighs in exactly what she wants to do from here, Betsy.
Well, the handful of candidates are already starting to come out. There's certainly more that will be added to the list, so we'll keep an eye on that. Will, thank you so much. We look forward to more of your report tonight on What Matters Most at 6. Jay?
Now on your feet at 5, we are moving in the right direction. Today, another sign of hope and a few more rays of light at the end of this pandemic tunnel. Governor DeWine announcing a short while ago, Ohio will be getting 40% more of the Pfizer vaccine. That's over the next couple of weeks. And by the end of March, vaccine shipments should double from where they are today. Certainly great news.
Bring it on. Well, the vaccine rollout has left a lot of people with a lot of questions, and that means we turn to our senior health correspondent, Monica Robbins, who's been just feverishly trying to sort through as many as she can.
Monica, hello to you. I've got a question for you. We're hearing that the Moderna vaccine is getting some upgrades to deal with new variants. But what does that mean for people who have already had their first dose of the Moderna vaccine?
Yeah, Jay, that's a great question. The upgrades will be designed to better protect against those more contagious variants that are circulating now. And potentially, it could also be a booster shot. But as this virus continues to mutate, even the upgrades could eventually wane. And then we're going to be needing newer vaccines anyway. So listen, you are protected against most variants out there if you've received the Moderna vaccine. It's that South African variant that diminishes efficacy with the Moderna vaccine. So if that mutation continues to become more dominant, then yes, you may not need that booster shot. But likely, honestly, we're all going to need new vaccines in a couple of years anyway. So my advice, take what you can get right now, at least for some protection.
All right, Monica. Now, I know there's been a lot of us, people talking about when you get the vaccine, does it hurt? Do I feel icky afterwards? Do you have any kind of, advice for people? Can they take some over-the-counter pain reliever?
A lot of people have been asking me that particular question. Now, CDC guidelines say you can take an over-the-counter pain reliever like ibuprofen or acetaminophen after you get the vaccine, because health experts are advising that you shouldn't take anything before you get the vaccine because they say the anti-inflammatory drugs could blunt your immune response to the vaccine and make it a little less effective. Now, if your doctor prescribes you one that you have to take every day anyway, you need to talk to your doctor about what you should do before you get your COVID vaccine. But bottom line, yes, when you have the boo-boo, yes, you can go take your Tylenol and your ibuprofen afterward, but probably not a good idea right now. At least, we want these vaccines to be as effective as possible. And usually, remember, after the first dose, it's only about 50%. And it takes a couple of weeks to even get there in between. So we don't want to limit that in any way, shape, or form. Oh, and by the way, guys, I talked to the governor's office. There will be a 1C group announced, but they're not going to get to figure out who's going to be in that group until we're near the end of 1B. And believe me, even though we're going to see a lot more vaccine coming down the pike, we're a long way from getting finished with 1B yet.
All right. Well, we'll look forward to details when you have them. Monica, thanks. We appreciate it. The Sports Talk airwaves of Cleveland lost a long-time voice last night. Les Levine passed away after a battle against diabetes and Parkinson's disease. He was 74 years old. His career spanned a half-century, and sports fans throughout Northeast Ohio are mourning his passing today. Let's bring in 3 News Sports Director Jim Donovan now. Jimmy, his everyman, kind of self-deprecating at times style was infectious.
Yeah, it really was. Jay, there are a lot of networks in our business. There's NBC, ABC, CBS, of course, and Fox. Les Levine was his own network. He was the original one-man band. He did it all. He did the show. He produced the show. He sold the advertising for the show. All with the theme in mind, sports is a barrel of fun. Remember, it's a game, and he knew how to have fun with it. He was the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason.
Hi, this is Les Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in all of Ohio sports.
That's how the great Les Levine signed his talk show on every night for decades. He was informed, certainly opinionated, and just a good friend talking sports with his audience. Just the title of his show.
It's More Sports Channel and Les Levine.
Told you, he never really took himself too serious. Les did things the old-fashioned way. He did it all himself. A broadcasting career that began back in 1970 in Jasper, Indiana, where he did play-by-play, sold all the advertising for the broadcast, then went back and spun records as a DJ, all for $100 a week. That do-it-yourself work ethic, it never departed. Les, right up until the end, hit the streets, pressed the flesh with advertisers, and they stuck with him. I mean, I only ate at Sokolowski's and Corky and Lenny's because Les said they were great. He was right. When Cleveland State went on their magical NCAA tournament run back in 1986, Les was on the radio call.
Around to the left to Clinton Smith. To the right side to Ramsey. Ramsey fakes, he drives, he shoots, he scores.
He broadcast Cleveland State basketball for 23 years. At Browns press conferences on Mondays, it became a tradition that Les would press a Browns head coach about time management. Coach, Why didn't you call a timeout? I will miss Les. I know you will too. He had a trademark answer when you would say, hey, Les, great show. He would snap back, today? No, Les, every day. 74 years old. He worked really right up until it was physically impossible to do his show. It was tough to give it up for him. That's how much he loved doing it. Jay, when I would go to a Browns press conference, and heaven knows there were enough of those, when I would go out there, it was like musical chairs. I would scramble to be able to sit beside Les Levine because he would have me rolling off my chair laughing. He had such a great, unique point of view about everything that went on in sports.
Yeah, witty, funny, charming on the air. I had the opportunity to be on his program a number of times, and I was thinking back on some of those memories today. I always loved how he was willing to share his opinion, but at the same time, Jimmy, I'm sure you know this about him, he was willing to listen to the opposing viewpoint. If it wasn't his, he would listen to it, and then he would tell you why you were wrong.
Well, I'll tell you what, he did it all. Radio, television. He was a popular columnist for the Jewish News. You know where we should end this, Jay? With his trademark, How Come Quickie, that he always had. So we'll do that right now. Les would say, how come we park in a driveway, but we drive on a parkway? There you go.
And that was one of his trademarks, and I'm sure he would love the fact that you remembered that today. Jimmy, thanks so much. We'll see you again at 6 o'clock. True original.
Okay, Jay.
Next on What's New, imagine being able to remember trivial details from any day of your life. Well, one area girl can do just that, and we will tell you her incredible story coming up.
Plus, the Celebrity Fight Club continues. I didn't even know there was a Celebrity Fight Club, so this is informative for me. We'll tell you which former NBA star plans to step in the ring to fight a singer.
Plus, Matt Wentz is along in minutes to look at our weather. Happy Thursday to you, Matt.
Well, happy Thursday to you too, Jay. Jay, the sunshine today brought me out of the basement. I could not work downstairs when we had that brilliant sun. So we're back in the playroom today, which was an office over Christmas. We've done so much redecorating in here. But anyway, we've got some snow moving in tonight. We could have some tricky travel overnight tonight. So we'll detail that. We'll also talk about that cold air in the extended when we come back.
Welcome back to What's New. Here's a question for you. Do you remember what you were doing 6 years ago today? Not just the big events of the day, but the mundane details that went along with it. What you wore, what you ate that day. Impossible, right? Well, not for a local teen. Believed to have one of the rarest neurological conditions in the world, this young lady is remarkable. And tonight, she is sharing her story to teach us all a very valuable lesson.
Meet Alyssa A.,
I'm 18 years old and I'm a senior at Wadsworth High School,
where her schedule is filled with honors classes and extracurriculars. A typical teen in many ways.
Just this morning, I forgot to bring my flute to school for wind ensemble.
Though extraordinary in the way her mind recalls other things.
May 16th, 2018. Here, give me a second.
31 months ago, yet it takes Alyssa only seconds to remember the day of the week.
Was that a Wednesday?
And details of that ordinary day.
I remember having to write this whole assignment for Modern World History for my history teacher, Mr. Knapp, about how if we could have dinner with these different historical figures, and I had to do all this math stuff.
Alyssa's super memory isn't a fluke. It's believed she has a condition known as highly superior autobiographic memory, or HSAM. Only about 100 people are known to have this worldwide. Actress Mary Lou Henner among the first ever diagnosed. Alyssa's formal diagnosis hasn't come yet, but the hallmarks of HSAM are all there, as we quizzed her again on another date, January 2nd, 2019.
Let's see. Wednesday? That was the day I was coming home from Disney World with a band. We'd gone to Epcot the day before. My friend told me later on that on that same bus ride, she learned that she'd been accepted to the Cleveland State. It was a long bus ride because we came all the way back from Florida, straight back to Ohio. It was long, but it honestly went pretty quickly. And my family and I went to Casa del Rio that evening, and I can remember the dessert that we ate. It was this fried ice cream thing.
Alyssa's parents say her memory has always been good, but it took off around the age of 10. In just 4 years after doctors diagnosed Alyssa with Asperger's syndrome, a condition on the autism spectrum.
Her teacher told us that she had noticed some different characteristics in kindergarten. And I'm a speech therapist by trade, so I was so surprised that I hadn't myself diagnosed her with an Asperger's. But we just know her as Alyssa. She's uniquely Alyssa.
Uniquely Alyssa. A teen who wants others to know she did face her share of challenges early on, but chose not to run from them.
Was some of my weaknesses in the past have really contributed to what my strengths are today.
Strengths that include advocating for inclusion and neurodiversity. The idea brain differences are normal and should not be viewed as deficits. Alyssa has even written papers on the topic and recently opened up to her high school newspaper, the Wadsworth Bruin, sharing her story with all of her classmates.
I definitely think that there is a reason I have it. In addition to teaching people about me and my ability, I get to teach people about neurodiversity and what that means as well.
She's incredible. Alyssa's also passionate about the idea of neurodiversity. You heard her talk about it, and thinks that schools and employers can do a better job of embracing, Betsy, neurological differences. It's really why she is sharing her story now. She's a phenomenal student. We asked Alyssa if this remarkable ability to remember things from years ago actually helps her with her studies. Her response, schoolwork, has to do with a different type of memory, which I thought was interesting.
That is so interesting.
Yeah.
People always say, the memories start to fade over time and whatnot. And there's some things that I'm sure you would embrace and lock in on and be so joyful that you still have those vivid memories. But there's some things that it's okay to let go.
She can't.
What you ate.
Yeah.
So, can you imagine just having all that going on at once? My goodness.
Yeah, it is incredible. It
obviously
really is.
Super special. I wish I could remember the weather from last week, let alone what the forecast is for the next 7 days. Good thing Matt Wentz is along with us because he does know what's going on with that forecast.
Matt, your weather word today.
Betsy.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, Betsy, we've talked about all the different kinds of meteorologists. Some remember the storm of, 1960, and you and I are not those two meteorologists. So anyway, go ahead, Jay. I'll let you go there.
It would come in handy, as you wouldn't have to look up daily records. You would just have them all committed to memory. Your weather word in memory of Alyssa is memory. See if you can throw that in the forecast.
Fantastic. Will do, Jay. And what a wonderful story as well. Something funny that Emmy's been working on, ever since we started forecasting this Arctic outbreak, she's been building shelters for her animals. So I don't know if that goes hand in hand with what we have coming in here over the next week or so. But we've got some pretty active weather, and it all really starts tonight, and this will kind of kick off that cold air. As we take you to the radar right now, you can see those clouds have really thickened up this afternoon out ahead of our next storm system. And there's a pretty steady area of snow that's working in with this. This will work into our western communities first. Temperatures, they're above freezing, but we've got very, very dry air in place. So as that snow falls into our dry air, a lot of it will evaporate. And don't forget, evaporation is a cooling process. That's why we sweat. It evaporates, cools us down in the summertime. So these temperatures, although they're above freezing, will likely come down. And we're going to see a pretty decent amount of snow with this versus the rain that'll be mixing in overnight tonight. So that snow moving into Sandusky now, starting to fall down towards Mansfield as well. The bigger picture, though, showing we've got a good 8 to 10 hours of snow. It'll likely mix with some rain overnight tonight as well. It'll just be kind of sloppy, just a wet snow. It'll be slushy outside. And then we turn towards the cold. This whole system will funnel that cold in from the northwest. Your National Design-Mart hour-by-hour forecast showing that. You can see the snow working in here. Pretty decent clip at some points here this evening. That continues through midnight, mixing with rain in spots, just kind of sloppy. But it's all out of here by the time we wake up tomorrow morning. And watch this. We start the day in the mid to upper 30s at 3 a.m. and then we're in the 20s by the time you wake up tomorrow morning. We'll likely see sun peaks by afternoon, but temperatures will crash through the 20s. We'll likely see some snow showers as well. The one thing to keep in mind tomorrow, it's going to be windy. Wind gusts over 35 at times. In terms of how much wet snow tonight, I think a general 1 to 3 inches. Just depends on what areas stay snow the longest. But the big story is going to be the cold once this moves out. Your wind chills tomorrow are going to stay in the single digits, markedly colder than where we are today. And that frigid air, it moves in tomorrow, but we just get a little taste of it tomorrow, Saturday. It really moves in here next week. And look at the staying power to this. All of Canada covered by the polar vortex. I mean, this really is a pretty incredible air mass. Your Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast brings us into the 20s by Saturday, and we stay there with periodic snowfall chances all the way through next week. And a look at the longer term beyond that, it gets even colder as it looks right now. So please get outside and enjoy the 30s that we have right now. Guys, my memory escaped me on this, and I forgot to throw the keyword in there, but I think that counts still.
No, you got it. That counts, doesn't it?
Close enough. Yeah, we'll let it count. We'll let it count for sure. All right, Matt, thank you so much. We'll talk to you again in about a half hour or so. Well, coming up next for us here on What's New, country star Morgan Wallen's actions get him in trouble again. What he said that has other musicians speaking out, and what is next for his career.
And Betsy, you're never too old for some snow fun. What this viewer does next is worth the watch. There's a lot happening in celebrity news today, from an emotional episode of Riverdale to the unlikely pair of celebs ready to meet in the ring, and the backlash against country star Morgan Wallen. Here's Kiera Cotton with today's Pop Break.
Racism can be dangerous. Morgan Wallen is still under fire after a video of him hurling the N-word appeared online. The 27-year-old country music star issued an apology saying that he was embarrassed and sorry for using the word, but the damage was done. His label, Big Loud Records, announced the suspension of his recording contract indefinitely, and the Country Music Association has removed his digital content from all its platforms. And in the final blow, the Academy of Country Music announced in a statement that Wallen would no longer be eligible for the 56th award, saying, "The Academy does not condone or support intolerance or behavior that doesn't align with our commitment and dedication to diversity and inclusion." Take it to the ring. Lamar Odom and Aaron Carter are the latest celebrities to agree to face each other in a boxing match. The retired NBA player and the I Want Candy singer appear to be an odd matchup for various reasons, but particularly with Odom standing at 6 feet 10 inches tall and Carter only at 6'1". Let's just hope no one is seriously injured. The 3-round exhibition match is set to take place June 12th at the Showboat Casino in Atlantic City. And all good things must come to an end, even the crazy high school drama that is Riverdale. In last night's episode, Jughead, Betty, Archie, Veronica, and the rest of the crew finally graduate. But what's supposed to be one of the happiest moments of their lives is bittersweet. Relationships dissolve and the cast reflects on the past, including the untimely death of Fred Andrews, Archie's dad, who was played by Luke Perry. But what is Riverdale without high school? The next episode teases what life is like 7 years after graduation, where another crisis and mystery awaits.
That was Kiera Cotton with your Pop Break. Now it's time for our Worth the Watch, and you know, kids of all ages love to play in the snow. Priscilla Derry is our Worth the Watch today. She is 78 years old, and her husband Jim sent this video to me of Priscilla outside all bundled up, and she laid down and got to making that beautiful snow angel. And in the video, I don't know if you can hear it. You can hear her kind of giggling in the background. It's super cute. Checking her work. Very nice. Isn't that so cute?
You're never too old to make a snow angel.
Right? And of course, when you see her like bend down to get in the snow, it's a little slower than the kids do. But you know what?
Okay, look at the quality of that snow angel.
That is a solid quality snow angel right there.
Well done. Live life to the fullest.
Thanks.
Ahead in the second half hour of What's New, we know the Summer Games are slated for July, but 1 year from right now, we'll be getting set for the Winter Olympics in Beijing. We've got preps on Team USA coming up.
All right, plus it's the return of Throwdown Thursday. I missed Throwdown Thursday. Jay and I will be testing our Super Bowl trivia. Yay for the coveted Lamb Trophy that's up for grabs. We'll be right back.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
It's Thursday. We like to refer to that as Friday Eve. And welcome back, everybody, here at the bottom of the hour on What's New. I'm Betsy Kling alongside Jay Crawford.
Quick shout out of good luck, Betsy, to former Browns great Clay Matthews. Clay is one of 15 finalists for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The class will be announced this weekend. Good luck to him. One of the all-time greats, for sure. We begin at 5:30 with three things you need to know. First up, our daily coronavirus numbers. While our new cases ticked up over 4,000 for the first time in 4 days, they are still 800 below our 21-day average. Daily positivity rate taking a huge dive today. It was up over 11% yesterday, down to just 6.3% today. And again, hospitalizations down triple digits. They're below 2,400 now, which is certainly going in the right direction. Deaths also down from yesterday. But sadly, 79 more Ohioans have lost their lives due to complications of COVID-19.
Also new today, the country's jobless claims report came back better than expected. Last week was the lowest week for first-time unemployment claims since November 28th. 779,000 Americans filed a claim. Meantime, the total number of people receiving unemployment benefits fell by nearly 500,000 to a total of 17.8 million. That's still a lot of people.
And number three, today Democrats sent former President Trump a request to testify next week during his impeachment trial. The trial will examine whether he played a role in the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. Lead impeachment manager, Representative Jamie Raskin, asks that Trump respond by tomorrow afternoon. Didn't take him that long. Trump lawyers saying today Trump will not testify, calling the proceeding unconstitutional, and also saying that the request is nothing more than a publicity stunt. Trump did not testify during his first impeachment trial, which ended in acquittal. And those are the three things you need to know.
Well, now to our top talker. You know, we haven't even had the Summer Olympics yet. Remember, they're still kind of in postpone mode. And already today marks 1 year until the Winter Olympics begin in Beijing, China.
Matt Renew is in Deer Valley, Utah. That's where U.S. athletes are beginning now to qualify for next year's Winter Olympics.
At the U.S. Ski and Snowboard USANA Center of Excellence.
Behind the scenes is testing 2 times a week, staying within our bubble, within our team.
The gym's empty and sectioned off since the pandemic started.
Definitely disrupted the whole world.
But Olympic silver medalist Devin Logan is adapting, jumping in the halfpipe and working to ski her way to her 3rd Olympic Games 1 year from today.
Fire is lit to hopefully get a medal in halfpipe.
And she's not alone. Skiers and snowboarders are on the snow training at the Utah Olympic Park and in Colorado, where racers like Olympic champion Michaela Schifrin can feel the Olympics coming up fast right after the Summer Games.
We're sort of all waiting with bated breath for the summer athletes to get their chance to compete. And then we'll just use like rapid fire then.
And that's got Team USA flying high. In European competitions, Schifrin's landed the podium 4 times in a pandemic season.
Just getting back to it felt like such an insurmountable challenge that being here now is pretty surreal.
Justin Schoenfeld's grabbed Team USA's first men's aerial World Cup in 4 years.
Performing better and better each competition.
While mogul skier Hannah Sorn has her first podium in singles.
It was really cool to get my first singles podium, especially because that's the Olympic sport.
All working hard. With the Winter Olympics 12 months away, bringing the world together perhaps for the first time with most of the pandemic behind us.
I think it could be one of the coolest Olympics to be a part of.
Which is just one more reason Devin's in this empty Park City gym.
Moving forward and vaccines are coming out.
Working for the chance to celebrate brighter days at the Winter Games.
That's what the Olympics are about.
Well, Beijing will be the first city to ever host both a Winter and a Summer Olympics. You'll remember back in 2008, the world gathered in Beijing for the Summer Games, and I don't think anybody will ever forget the opening ceremonies that they laid out. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, they put on a show. We also learned more, Betsy, about the Summer Olympics. We know that that's coming up in Tokyo this July. Rules, and there are many, will include mandatory face masks at all times Singing and chanting during events will be banned. Officials and athletes will not be allowed to use public transportation without special permission. And those who break the rules, Betsy, face removal from the games and other forms of punishment.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty strict. All right, coming up next on What's New, Throwdown Thursday is finally back, and we're both excited about that. How much do we know about the Super Bowl and its history? Mike Polk Jr. will join us to test our knowledge.
And then Lakewood's James Games is getting a resurgence in vintage gaming. Stephanie Haney has the details ahead in Clicking in Cleveland. And also we're going to get another peek at that forecast. Matt, I understand there's a little wintry mixing going on south of here, the Columbus area getting in on some of that action.
Yeah, Betsy, Columbus seeing this first. It'll be moving into our western communities here within the next 30 minutes or so. And it's going to get sloppy tonight for a couple hours. We'll take you through hour by hour through the weekend and next week with the cold. Until then, enjoy the warmth. Jay?
All right, Matt, looking forward to that. And as we head to break, we are profiling the first black doctor to obtain full hospital privileges here in Cleveland. It's part of today's Black History Moment. The accomplishment helped open doors for generations of black healthcare workers. Here's Romney Smith.
Dr. Middleton Lambright Jr. is the grandson of slaves. He specialized in surgery at Meharry Medical College in 1938. He interned at City Hospital, which became Metro Health. When he was appointed assistant clinical professor of surgery in the medical department at the Western Reserve School of Medicine, that move also granted him full practicing privileges at university hospitals and Mount Sinai Hospital.
Percentage right now of coverage, ice?
16% last night as of last night. Yeah.
Does it ever get to 100%?
Oh, yeah. It's a big deal. Oh, we are just chatting about that picture that we saw over on the CSU cam. Matt, you can totally see the clouds with the virga. That's the snow. It is falling, but it's evaporating before it hits the ground. Sublimation taking place for nerds. But, you know, it's an interesting thing because we're going to see this changing big time as we go through the night.
Good night, Cheetah.
Yeah, super fascinating as this moves in, Betsy, obviously to our drier air. You notice outside, you obviously have very dry nose, very dry skin. That's because there's not a lot of moisture in the air. And as you mentioned, that moisture falls into it. It evaporates. That cools the air. So temperatures out east right now are in the mid-30s, but they'll likely drop into the low 30s as this starts. So we're expecting mainly snow from this. We will see some rain mixing in at times, especially tonight as we get some warmer air aloft. But overall, I think we've got a brief window of some potentially messy weather overnight tonight. So let's take a look at it. This is what it looks like hour by hour. You can see temperatures holding generally in the low to mid 30s. That rain-snow mix moves in between 8 and about 4 a.m. That's going to be our window of tricky travel. And you can see this is a pretty decent block of precip moving in here. So we're going to have some heavier snowfall rates for time. These will be the big old wet snowflakes, eventually kind of turning sloppy and kind of slushy on the ground. We're already seeing some of the flakes fall down to our south and the west. It's just a matter of time before this overspreads the area. Sandusky, not quite yet. Might be seeing a few flurries reach the ground. A lot of this is aloft right now. Mansfield likely starting to see some snow. I checked the ODOT cams down there, not showing much, but as we advance west towards Bowling Green, the home of the J. Crawford, Betsy Kling statue, you can see we're dealing with pretty low visibility there. Yeah, I got you. I know where you went to school. I think everyone knows where you went to school after all the segments you guys have done about it. National Design Bar hour by hour forecast. You can see the snow overspreading the area. Could be heavy for a brief time tonight. You can see mixing with a little bit of rain from time to time, but the bulk of the problems will be this evening and tonight. Tomorrow morning we start in the 30s and watch these temperatures crash. By the time you're up and at them, we'll be in the 20s, likely in the teens by evening. Tomorrow is going to be fairly dry. I think we'll see sun peaks, we'll see scattered snow showers, we'll see gusty winds, just kind of a raw day outside. In terms of snowfall tonight, a slushy 1 to 3 inches, depends on where we get those rates the heaviest. And then we talk cold. So what I'm going to show you here, these are the minimum wind chills. This is as cold as it's going to get Saturday morning. Look at where the bulk of this cold air is as we advance into Sunday and then Monday. All of it stays not just over us, but especially north and west of us. That puts us on the fringe of that Arctic air all the way through next week, with the heart of it up in Minnesota, where they could stay below zero for temperatures for the next 9 days. How about that? But because we're on the fringe of this cold air, that puts us right in the storm track. So in terms of these snow systems that'll be moving through, we'll likely get a couple clips of snow from day to day here. And the Euro saying it could add up by week's end. Then you can see the GFS saying more of the same, where we're going to have some pretty snowy days, but also some sunshine in between. Your Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast, we've got temperatures falling tomorrow. We'll be in the 20s Saturday and Sunday. And then next week, we do more of the same, 20s, teens for lows. And it looks like it gets colder after that. So that's a wrap on the forecast, and I'm going to go get a wrap in the blanket and get ready for the next month and a half.
Well, tell Emmy to keep building those little shelters for the animals. They will definitely need them next week. What a sweet girl. All right, Matt,
I was telling her not to dig during the forecast. Don't dig.
We'll see you at 7. Go dig, Emmy.
You did a good job. You did a great job.
Yeah, she always does a great job. And so do you, Matt. All right, we are breaking out the leg lamp because, of course, Throwdown Thursday is back. As many of you know, the winner of the week's challenge gets to keep the lamp on his or her desk until the following week. And it's been on my desk for a long time.
I have been out of the building.
I know. So the Super Bowl is here. We know it's Super Bowl week, so we brought in our Super Bowl expert, Mike Polk Jr. He's going to quiz us on our knowledge of the big game. Hello, Mike. A little refresher.
Hello, thank you for having me. Welcome back to Throwdown Thursday.
Look at
the
mess.
Professor is back and school is in session. Are you ready, children?
Yes.
We are ready.
Okay. Question number 1. Including Sunday's game, how many times has Tom Brady made it to the Super Bowl? A, 7.
Oh, wow.
B, I heard a doorbell.
That was Betsy.
I'm going to guess. I don't know.
Throw it out
Go
there.
ahead.
What do you got?
12? I have no idea.
12 is incorrect. Jay to steal.
Of course.
This would be number 10.
Oh.
10 is correct. First point goes to Jay.
You know, in fairness, Betsy,
that's all right, Betsy. We're all a little rusty.
I didn't, but that's okay.
You've been cooped up in your house too long, Betsy. You're gonna shake the rust off. I just know it on this. Next question. Number 2. How many fans will be inside the stadium on Sunday? A, 20. Wow. Jay.
I actually said this on the air yesterday. So, Betsy, I'll give you a chance to steal if you can remember.
I don't need your pity.
How gallant.
You can try to steal if you want. I'm just trying to be fair. I think this is unfair that these are Super Bowl questions.
Someone has
25,000.
25,000 is correct.
Got
Betsy.
Oh, y'all.
Nailed it.
Of me.
That was very nice of you, Jay.
Fantastic. If Jay's done patting his own back, we'll move on to question 3. The National Chicken Council says 1.4 billion chicken wings will be Wow, what
That
are
was
you
Jay.
possibly even guessing on?
I
Okay, Jay,
hit it.
what's your guess on this since I haven't even...
I accidentally hit it.
Say A, B, or C.
I'm going with B.
B is correct.
Oh my gosh.
What was
The rest of the question was about, listen to this question real quick. This is hilarious. How many chicken wings will be, over 1.4 billion chicken wings will be consumed during the Super Bowl. That's enough wings to circle the circumference of the earth. How many times? B is correct 3 times.
Yeah,
Good job, Jay.
I would have known
That's
that
2 points.
anyhow.
Of course you would have
Stumbled into that one. Next question. How many footballs go... How many footballs does each team typically get for the game? A, 12, B, 24, or C, 54?
This is going to be a guess. I'm going to go with the last one, the bigger number. 24 is not enough.
C, 54 is correct. An excessive amount of footballs are wasted each year. Good job, Jay. Okay, well, this one's all over but the crying, but we're going to finish it out strong. And I know Betsy's got this one up her sleeve. Which city has hosted the most Super Bowls?
Oh, wow.
A, Atlanta, B, Phoenix, or C, Miami?
Go ahead.
Jay?
It's got to be Miami.
Miami is correct, and Jay has cleaned house on the return of Throwdown Thursday.
This wasn't fair.
But
Betsy
it's just
wants
good to
weather
see you both
questions
back in
next
the
week.
saddle.
Next week we are doing Polar Vortex and Weathergeddon questions because this is insanity yet again.
This wasn't fair. But if
Just a reminder, I am merely the host of Throwdown Thursday, and I do not make the questions. Good night!
I love your vest. From
I
Chateau
just put
Poe.
my feet up on the desk.
Yeah,
I'm done.
that wasn't fair. Try to work in what Virga is next week in the question.
Now that you know.
Yeah, I know that now. All right, still ahead on what's new. The star power in Sunday's Super Bowl won't be lacking. Our take on how many future Hall of Famers will be on the field this weekend.
We should have had that question in Throwdown Thursday. Well, today's show is something good is really kind of amazing. It is a local story. We're going to introduce you to 2 incredible young ladies leading the way for other female athletes. You go, girls. Also, today is Homemade Soup Day. That's a good one.
Wow.
So pop the quiz question of the day today is, how much sodium is in a bowl of broccoli cheddar soup? Is it 1,000 milligrams, 1,500 milligrams, or 2,000 milligrams? The answer on the flip side.
How could anyone know that?
You don't know that?
I don't know that.
Well, before the break, we asked how much sodium is in a bowl of broccoli cheddar soup. Jay, do you have any guesses?
Well, I'm going to stay with B. It seemed to work for me
B
last
has worked
segment.
very well for you
Yes,
today.
it has.
But the answer is actually C, 2,000 milligrams. That's according to the American Heart Association. The ideal limit is 1,500 milligrams per day.
Wow. Our drummer got excited over that tidbit. He's drummer, pipe down over there. You probably don't know that, but we have a drummer in studio every day. Okay, it's time to see what's clicking in Cleveland right now. For that, we bring in our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney. Hello to you, Stephanie. Great to see you again.
Great to see you, Jay. You know, according to our sports analysts, there are a lot of potential Pro Football Hall of Fame contenders taking the field on Sunday in the Super Bowl. First up, Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback Tom Brady is a sure thing. This will be his 10th Super Bowl, as we just learned, and he already has 6 wins. He's the most accomplished quarterback in NFL history, so at this point, it's really just a matter of when he'll retire. And his partner in crime, tight end Rob Gronkowski, is also a lock with 3 Super Bowl wins and ranking 3rd all-time among tight ends in regular season touchdowns. As for the near locks, there's Cleveland Heights native and Kansas City tight end Travis Kelce. He already ranks above the average Hall of Fame tight end in receptions and yards with 4 more years on his contract. And for Kansas City, wide receiver Antonio Brown certainly has the talent. The big question there is if his off-field behavior might delay his induction. For more possibilities, go to WKYC.com. And if vintage video games are your thing, you might want to head to Lakewood. James Games and More, which is off of Detroit Road, is a family-run business with all of the classics. They've got Ataris and Nintendo 64s to play all of your old favorites, from Frogger to Zelda. James's son and shop co-owner Corey Garonsky says business has tripled in the past year. Now for me, most of my Mario memories include me asking my dad for help and him taking over for the next hour. That happened a little less with Mario Kart, which is probably why it's my favorite, Jay. Has to be Rainbow Road though. Jay, do you have a favorite vintage game?
I do. I have a lot of favorites. The Mario series is great, but I go with the original Donkey Kong. Such a great game.
I think we're looking at your high scores there.
That is my high score. So I actually play this game way more than an adult should. And as you can see, I got all the high scores on my little home version there, and I wrote out the word Cleveland Browns. As Stephanie said, that's very on brand.
On brand, Jay.
Yeah,
exactly.
I
very
love
on
that
brand.
game. I love. Betsy, do you have a favorite game? Old school game?
Old school game, Pitfall and Atari.
Oh, I loved Pitfall.
Pitfall was awesome.
was great. The little swing ropes in the quicksand.
Yeah.
That was great.
It was very
Thank
fun.
you, Stephanie.
All right, up next for us, everybody, we introduce you to 2 great local girls whose creativity and hard work paid off in a big way.
And coming up at 6 on What Matters Most, a look inside the Ohio militia, the long history our state has with the militia movement. You might be surprised.
Well, Alexa, these two girls that are in the Menor area did some really fantastic things to set up other girls' future sports endeavors. And the Cleveland Cavaliers have a new program that they are participating in. It's a nationwide program. These two 8th graders from Menor Memorial Middle School jumped in and they received a really cool surprise yesterday. They were selected to represent the Cavs in all of Northeast Ohio at this year's Game Growers as co-captains. The NBA, the WNBA initiative encourages 7th and 8th graders to share ideas on how to get more girls involved in sports. And we were there for the surprise. There you see her. Well, Alexa, that you saw there on the video, was out with an injury. She was on FaceTime to see this surprise. The two girls received custom Cavs jersey, Cavs tickets, and the team's announcer showed up to tell everybody about their achievement. Both of the girls' winning pitch includes a monthly sports and leadership camp for elementary school kids. I love that idea. And the 3-hour camp would introduce a new sport, fun workout, and tech leadership skills. We talked with Maylee and Cavs Academy coach Jess Davis about what this means to them.
Alexis Stockman and I are appreciative that we have the opportunity to help girls because we want them to keep going in sports just like we are.
And I can't wait to work with them on Girls Got Skills. That's their idea. They have a lot of cool things behind it, and so I can't wait to get started.
Well, Maylee and Alexa also get to take part in the Game Growers Camp later this month, which will virtually connect teams from all over the U.S. Isn't that so inspiring and cool?
Pretty cool. You played basketball as a young girl. You know how important it can be.
Yep, absolutely. It's a great team building thing. You learn how to work with other people, even difficult people like you, Jay.
Thanks for watching What's New. We are back tomorrow at 5, and we invite you to join us then.
Now we're going to turn you over to the very nice